Good morning. It's another fine cloudy. It was raining most of the early morning kind of day. Everything is very damp outside, and the temperature is dropping here in growing zone 8A. Next week, I believe starting maybe early-ish next week, we might be getting those light frosts almost consistently from now probably until January, when we start getting much harder frosts that hit at night. All that being said, one of the reasons I got the greenhouse was to try to grow things inside, sort of a four-season growing idea that I can't necessarily grow outside when there's those hard frosts and freezes. And then there's always the freezing rain, which we got a couple of times last year. And if you have something tenderish outside, the freezing rain, it's really going to knock it back, if not destroy it. So again, that was the whole idea of getting the greenhouse. Try to grow things inside a sheltered space that's relatively warmish, or warmer than it is outside, and something that won't freeze. Now, real quick on the whole freezing thing, this is an unheated greenhouse, and it can freeze inside, obviously, if it gets cold enough outside. Again, this is not insulated. We are unheated. I'm in growing zone 8A, so for the most part, I'm fine. If it were to look like we were going to get super cold, freezing nights, let's say in the 20s or even the teens, and it does occasionally happen, at least in the few years I've been here, you may get an hour or two right in those really cold, freezing temperatures. What I may wind up doing is putting an electric heater in here just to keep that temperature just above freezing. Again, I'm not going to try to heat the whole space or bring it up to a 70, 80 degree mark, but just to try to knock that really cold freeze edge off. And again, I plan on putting plants in here like my orange trees and my lemon trees, and of course I have other stuff growing in here at the moment, and plus today we'll be planting new stuff, so I'd rather not any of that get destroyed by a hard freeze. The other thing I'm doing, which will be the main source of heat as it were throughout the winter months, is I'm doing some passive heating. Let me show you what that looks like real quick. So I have this black bin here that I'm doing a little bit of composting in, and that actually in itself is generating a little bit of heat, which is great. Down here, you see all these milk jugs, and then I have some bigger 4 and 5 gallon containers. They're all spray painted black, obviously, and they are all filled with water. They absorb the sun during the daytime, and at nighttime, they'll then release that heat. And underneath the potting bench here, there's a few more jugs. And again, all this is just to absorb the heat during the day, and then at nighttime, release that heat. And again, just to try to keep the temperatures in here milder than they are outside. Again, I'll be trying to grow certain vegetables in here during the winter time, plants that are capable of taking a bit of a chill. And again, I'm going to have the lemon tree and the orange trees and stuff in here. Anyways, let me stop prattling on and let me show you what we're up to today. So today I'm going to be planting out 3 different items here in the greenhouse. All of them are cold hardy to a degree, and I'm going to be trying to grow them in here over the winter. If this experiment is a success, I can only hope and dream of planting and growing more in here during the winter time. So let me show you what I've got. First up is going to be romaine lettuce. And then I'm going to have some cherry bell radish. They're very small radishes. They're very nice. And the last but not least will be a giant Italian parsley. The radish and the parsley, they're somewhat older seeds. They should still perform, but I may not get the germination rate as when they were fresh and new. Still, gonna give it a try. This is all an experiment to see what will grow and what won't grow. The parsley takes 70 days to mature, which should put us basically we're in December, January, end of January, early February. And the radish is the 30-day item generally. And the lettuce, does it tell me, let's see, 43 days. Again, it should put us in the beginning of February-ish. So we'll see. Again, I don't know what will grow, what won't grow, what will be successful. Now, the romaine is a cut and come again type of variety, so you can just take the leaves off as needed and as you want. So if the experiment is successful, I could theoretically have romaine leaves growing in here all winter long. The other thing I have to try to keep in mind is not to get so exuberant that I fill up all of the shelf space with plants or vegetables that I'm growing in here, because come the springtime, I need to shift gears over to seed starting. So that will probably start endish February maybe, beginning of March. And I want to start filling up all the benches with various seeds, plants that I want to start growing, obviously for the spring after the first frost in April. The last frost, I apologize. The last frost in April, which around here is the 1st to the 15th. It depends upon the year, but early April. So let me show you what we're going to plant and how I'm going to plant it. First off, we're going to start with the romaine lettuce, and I'm going to try to grow this in a potting soil bag. I saw Jess from Roots and Refuge, it's another YouTube channel, do this a few years back, and it worked out pretty successful for her. I think she did a bag or two, not sure. And I have seen other gardeners who have way more experience than I do the same thing, essentially grow various vegetables in potting soil bags, and this way you don't need a container, and well, basically the container's here for you. And you're going to throw it out anyway, so might as well put it to use, right? So first, we're going to turn around. And I'm going to put some holes on the bottom. You know what? I'm going to use a little seed tool here. Anyways, I'm going to put some holes in the bottom. This is basically just for drainage. This way the soil in here doesn't get overly wet. Okay, next up, we're going to cut open the bag. This we have to be a bit surgical about. So what I want to do is not too close to the edge. And I'm just going to basically cut the top open. This is not the most efficient of containers, but again, it's an experiment. It's something I've seen done before, so I'm going to give it a shot. Not sure how I should be sewing this again. You know what, I just might turn around and do a bit of this, little trench, sprinkle the mixture in. Obviously water. I think this is going to be a bit messy. Okay, so that's done. The sun's starting to come out, which means the greenhouse will probably start warming up, and I just took a look over. It's going to be about 80 right now. So I'm just going to crack open the roof vent. The next thing I want to plant up, I think, is the radish. Now the radish I'm going to do in a different type of container, and I'll show you that. Now I've got this like flower pot sort of set up. It has a little water capture tray on the bottom. I've used this once before when I grew, I think it was peas or something else. It might have been radish in my basement in Sayville as an experiment. And that worked out fairly well. So we're going to use it in here now. These are older seeds, so I'm going to plant these a little denser, I think. And of course, give it a good soak. Now in this pot here, I'm going to turn around and plant some parsley. Parsley apparently is a fairly cold hardy plant. So let's give this a whirl and see what happens here. Again, it's a older seed, so I don't know how much will or won't germinate, so I'm oversaturating it a bit. Cover with some more potting soil. There you go. And of course, water. Well, that's it. I planted some radish, parsley, and romaine lettuce. I don't know what will grow, what won't grow, how successful this whole bag thing will be, or the pots. But again, it's an experiment, and I'm learning, and I'm trying to figure it all out. You can read on the internet that something is successful, But until you try it yourself, well, at least for me, I don't really believe it. Again, I have seen other people do it, but they have a lot more experience than I do. So giving it a try myself, I'm going to find out what does and doesn't work. How well will the greenhouse work over the course of the winter? And will it give me what I'd like to have, which is a 4-season growing thing. You know, I want to grow in all 4 seasons, not just spring, summer, and maybe a little in fall. I like to be able to grow in the winter time as well. So that's about it for today. If you have any questions, comments, etc., please leave them below. If you don't follow me over on Instagram, please give me a follow on Instagram. Please check out all the links below in this video. I have all sorts of things, including links to where to get a cool sweatshirt like this. Christmas is coming. I have all sorts of merch. Again, check out those links below. You can check that out and maybe get yourself or somebody you like a gift for Christmas. That's going to wrap it up for today. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.